Hello, this is the best of April 23. Possibly my last month of posting. I'm certainly going to be taking a break now anyway. Um, there are some quite long ones here, but I think it's the best month so far. We start with counterpoint. The warbling of three blackbirds brings a joyous sound to early spring, but Sunday grinds our tidy minds and motor mowers clang. The innocence of childhood seals a challenge to our ruling class. Their naive trust must be replaced with jingoist ideals. The Molar Gap. There was an old lady from Crewe whose teeth were becoming quite few. She also grew fatter, but said, "It's no matter, I'll soon be unable to chew." Another one on the theme of eating. Food for thought. Ice cream is the purpose of life, as I tried to explain to my wife. It's both creamy and sweet. The more that you eat, the less that you are given to strife. "I think," she replied with some glee, "I can't take you seriously. You're as mad as a hatter and sure to grow fatter. Perhaps just a little for me." Next, honeybee economics. A beekeeper used to their sting said it was no worse than a pin. It may not seem nice, but it's a small price for the honey and money they bring. Yet at the dentist's he quailed at the needle the dentist's hand held. "The teeth that you've lost," said the man, "is the cost of the sugar-filled life you've upheld." Easter Sunday. Sweets again. I'm not greatly given to prayer, but on this one day of the year I'll happily join in worshipful song, not knowing who might be to hear. My faith is on its last legs, but I'll happily cling to those dregs. You choose the song, and I'll sing along to worship those chocolate eggs. Something a little more thoughtful, perhaps. Best days. What are the best days of our lives? The days we take husbands or wives? Days filled with mirth when we give birth? Some unmet ambition survives? Or is it when flickering rays of the sun meet our wakening eyes, and lunch by a stream with friends and ice cream, building memories for our fading days? I believe in praise where it's due. Well done, God. Isn't it clever of God to give to each beast its own food, though some must take cover or be food for another, but it all seems to work for our good. And God gave us heaven and hell and judgment upon our death knell, the beauty of flowers and warm April showers. Yes, I think she's done rather well. On to carnal matters. Young love. A young couple sit on a bed. She turns to him, colouring red. She says, "I'm pregnant." He answers, "Engagement." She tells him, "That's what I said." The first of the longer ones. Oh, Jeremy Corbyn. So, finally settled by vote, the plot to keep Jeremy out. No room for tricks such as fair politics. Will put the truth-sayers to rout. Has Labour completed its drift past the centre when once strongly left? What hope for justice when all that remains is two parties with scarcely a rift? Yes, it's looking pretty grim, English politics at the moment, British politics. My share, one of my favourites of the month, I think. I've spent my share of gold, a small share, truth be told, but dying rich is not my wish, and I'm growing old. I've known my share of love, as much as I deserve, but many bear, through life's despair, the shackles of a slave. I've borne my share of pain, and would do so again for longer life, but many strive to flee from pain in vain. I've dreamt my share of dreams, but now the real world seems without a care. We foul our air and poison seas with casual ease. We close our eyes and ears to lies of cruel, corrupt regimes. Yes, slightly straying from the Limerick form, I know, but it's not the only one in this month that does that. I take liberties. Democracy, another political one. The Tories cling fast to their station, and Labour won't fear an election as long as both choose to unite and oppose proportional representation. Let everybody's vote count equally. The Plague. Another long one now. One of my favourites again. There was a green and pleasant land, not paradise, you understand, but lush and warm, and it did swarm with life and every kind. 'Tis in this land, with life diverse, with quaking hand I set my verse, a simple rhyme, with hope that time will see my pain disperse. For where rich forests were once found, a treeless plain then spread the ground, and climbing apes made their escapes onto the grassy ground. Across the vast millennia, those highly skilled mammalia grew strong and spread to nature's dread, from Arctic to Australia. They swept across each plain and hill, and oceans broad and deep, until they came to folk in every nook. The earth had reached its fill. So slowly green millennia passed, turning to grey, until at last their sterile farms and autobahns scarred soil from coast to coast. And there I reach my sombre end. With all the guiles at our command, I must recoil as we despoil this green and pleasant land. Let's have a little bit of whimsy. She left her mark. Faye left Mark Maloney behind, while tattooed on his chest and his mind. It hurt his love life. Now, in search of a wife, he can only date Fays or the blind. On a slightly philosophical mood. Not how, but when. Before this life I had no cares, no thoughts, desires or fears, oblivious of the need for love, and blind and deaf to fears. But I was born, or so I'm told. I wasn't very old, and I recall nothing at all of how my life was formed. And when did I become aware? No, not when did I care. When first did I see with the eye, feel pain, or start to hear? And more than when becomes the how. At some point as we grow, each newborn mind of humankind begins to feel and know. The universe, it has been said, is the mind's true birthbed, and that our souls are merely coils of that enormous head. But some truths are beyond our ken, beyond the minds of men, at least of mine. So I'll refrain and ask not how, but when. Bit of fun, this one. You may now. A young Ayrshire buck from Fleetwater fell in love with a local priest's daughter, and likewise it seems he shared in her dreams, in her bed too, until the priest caught her. The priest said, "Now laddie, take care, before you're a full wedded pair, make sure that my daughter stays pure till the altar, and there I'll unite you in prayer." The young man replied to the priest, "Your daughter's pure heaven, at least, but you misconstrue her dependence on you. In the sheets, she's as wild as a beast." Within a few days they were wed, to the chant of the priest's daughter's dad. To the young man he said, "You may now kiss the bride," though he knew the man already had. Bloodline. Isn't it odd we have a king, a medieval thing, where birth alone appoints the throne, mud from a muddy spring? Isn't it odd to have a crown that we can never own, from inbred head to inbred head, from king to king passed down? Isn't it just a bit absurd, if you'll forgive the word, that any fool, if born to rule, bears genes of George III? From one George to another, St. George. This was obviously on St. George's Day. We each have our dragons to slay, those demons we can't chase away. We each bring a ghost or two from a past, a failure to act or to stay. According to legend, at least St. George faced a terrible beast. If we face our fears, how the good George faced his, perhaps we can lay them to rest. Another long one now. An April garden. Beneath the spreading apple tree, Just where the leek ranks used to be, I've planted peas, some strawberries, and chanced some early chicory. And further on in open ground, where winter parsnips by the pound are now indoors, I've scattered scores of lettuce plants around. Our half an acre satisfies the needs of several types of bees, and then beside, for her inside, there's climbing rose and peonies. It is my heaven on earth, where from dawn, with the pleasure of friends or alone, once I've finished the hoeing, the weeding and mowing, the diggings and prunings and seen to the chickens, turned the compost, sheltered beans from late frost, and gathered the crop for our tabletop, the rest of the day is my own. Another on the subject of religion, at the gate. No, I'm sorry, St. Peter replied. There's no way you're coming inside. It's downstairs for you for a decade or two, to toast your toes by the fireside. I see that you don't understand. I was king of a glorious land, appointed by God. The saint gave a nod and said, God won't raise man over man. Finally, I think my favourite of the month, another long one, Cuckoo Land. Perhaps I should have called it I Had a Dream, but anyway. I had a dream. No other word can quite explain the voice I heard, the sights I saw, but see no more in that imagined honest world. And in that world within my dream, no lustful politicians scheme to meet their friends or donors' ends, but give the masses due esteem. There were no international wars, and never more could be, because each country had joined hand in hand to chase a truly global cause. Hunger, poverty all gone, with wealth and gluttony forsworn, each human life allowed to thrive, unyoked and free as it was born. Now, in the gloomy, daylit time, it seems that madness gripped my mind, to dream that we could yet be free of oligarchs and lords of crime. I tremble as the day takes flight, and dark sky sprinkles with starlight. I ask again, am I insane? What madness will I dream tonight? Thank you, that's it for April. As I say, I am having a break now. I may restart in a few days if I find the inspiration. Thank you for your patience. Bye for now.